Mama loves mambo.
Good evening. I'm going to be the stepfather to a 20-year-old girl named Alyssa. It's my first time getting married, and it's how I always envisioned it. Get married, go on a honeymoon, come home, start paying for college. My social anxiety inhibited my ability to get to know her at first. From the very beginning, I just didn't want to invade her space. And so I made sure not to. Until one day I overheard her say to her mother, "He's kind of quiet." My fiance, Amy, reassured her, "He's just like that at first." Amy would come up to me later and say, "You know what? You're really starting to fit the teenage definition of a creeper." My solo interaction with Alyssa, without Amy, I would retreat at the first possible sign of failure. Going to the football game? No. Okay. By the way, my college degree is in communication. One night, when Amy's phone was dead, she was using my phone in this text war with Alyssa. I don't even know what they were arguing about. And Alyssa texted back later that she was staying over at a friend's house for the night. Amy was asleep, so I texted back, "I'll let her know. She's asleep right now. Long night of getting her panties in a bunch, winky face." Alyssa texted back, "LOL. LOL. Yes, I'm hilarious." But it also reminded me of the power of social media to facilitate a relationship without being face-to-face. That's where I thrived. I didn't give up on face-to-face communication, but on my own I was no good. Case in point, beach week after high school graduation. Amy was really nervous about Alyssa going. So I thought, I'll try to reach out to her, on her level. The Saturday morning that she was leaving, she comes downstairs, grabs a bowl of cereal, I'm getting coffee. And I turn to her and say, "So, leaving for beach week today?" "Yeah." "It's gonna be crazy." "I know, I can't wait." And that's all I said. She picked up her bowl of cereal and went into the next room. If anything, I thought I'd just condone getting crazy. So after she left, I decided to save it by sending her a quick text. "Hey, have fun, but whatever you do, just stay away from bongs, cocaine, meth, LSD, any liquor going down a funnel or down like an ice luge, pretty much the state of New Jersey, police lights, and balconies." She texted back, "LOL, thanks." Yeah, that worked. A little while later, I reached out over text again for some help from Alyssa with Twitter. I figured she used it, I used it, her mom didn't use it, maybe we could bond. And she did help, and it worked. She started following me on Twitter. And it was cool at first, but then it started to mess with my head every time I would start to write out a tweet. I would think she could be reading this. Could I swear? Could I talk about sex? Is it weird that her mom's boyfriend just tweeted to the entire world that he thinks farts might be a good name for a cat? But soon after we got engaged, Alyssa stopped following me. And it felt like a rejection. But I also knew that I was now being viewed more as a parental figure. So, in a childish way, I tweeted that. My future stepdaughter just unfollowed me, and a bucking begins. My first sort of parental moment, potential parental moment came a little while later. Amy approached me and said, "Alyssa's not feeling really good down at school. And I know that you went through your stuff while you were at college, and maybe if you talk to her and not her mom, she might listen." I really wanted to help her. I really, really wanted to call her. But I sent a text instead. It was a long text. Very genuine. I poured out every little life lesson that I'd ever learned right onto that tiny screen. Then I pressed send. Waited. Finally, Alyssa texted back, "Thanks. That was nice." At least it wasn't LOL. When she came home this past Mother's Day weekend from college, I was feeling frustrated and kind of anxious about the upcoming summer. And it didn't help that the day before, her mother had sent me and Alyssa this email with this Albert Einstein meme that said, "The day that Einstein feared the most has finally arrived, when our technology will have surpassed our human interaction and we all have become a world full of idiots." And there's pictures of people that would otherwise be enjoying each other's company face down in their phones. Well, Alyssa loves Albert Einstein, and so do I. So I thought she would know what I knew, is that that's not what Einstein really said. So I typed back, thinking, this will impress Alyssa. Maybe someone should create a meme that says, "The day that has finally arrived that Einstein feared the most, when technology would be used to mess up what he said." Right, Alyssa? And I waited for her reply, and she did. And I opened it up, and Alyssa replied, "You guys can cut me out of this email thread now." Okay. She walked through the door, and Amy came to greet her, and they were so happy to see each other. And I thought, you know what? That's the most important relationship. Right there. Just keep that happy. A little while later, Amy would leave, and Alyssa's on the couch watching TV. I'm in the kitchen. And she starts laughing, like really hard. And I'm like, this little voice in my head just says, "Just walk over there and ask what she's watching, you dummy." So I do. And Alyssa's like, "It's this show Wipeout, and these people are falling all over themselves, and they're being whacked with giant Nerf hammers." And right there in that little interaction, it alleviated all my tension. It was no major life moment, no crisis quelled, just two people laughing at people being them stupid selves. And I was reminded as a communication major of this major principle that we would study called talking. It really works. I would hear Alyssa later on apologize to her mother about her response in the email. She just gets overwhelmed with mass texts, mass emails, Twitter, Instagram, all the things that her friends use. And I could relate. And since she's been home, I've continued to practice this concept of talking, and it's been working. Though we still do text every once in a while. The other night, she texted to see if I wanted to go to a comedy show with her boyfriend, and his family, but no Amy, just me. And I replied, "Yes." And she replied, "Gucci." And I replied, "Yeah, that's what I was thinking." And she replied, "LOL." But I think this time she may have been laughing.
Having Michael around, he reminds me of myself a lot, which I don't know if my mom likes or hates, because we're both pretty funny and entertaining, but we also don't listen to her and barely, don't pay attention to anything